happening? We're talking about the most badass solo in the game right now, all right? Half step down, we got Eddie Van-Halen shredding an A5 power chord. Then we're gonna come up here and slide with our third finger to the 7th fret A string. Okay, up the pentatonic, 7, 5, 7, 5, and then bend 7 on the G. Now you get this lick here that's like 5, hammering 8, pulling off to 5, and pulling open on the B string, and then coming down with your pinky to the 8th fret on the G string. Do that really quick, and then you kind of do a down the blues scale. Now your pinky will be on the D string here, and you get another motif. You got 4 hammering 5, hammering 7, and then pulling off 7 to 5 to 4, and then down to 7 on the D string. Now kind of jump back, 4th fret G string, and then chromatically down 7, 6, 5, or yeah, 7, 6, 5, 4 on the D string, then 7, 6, 5 on the A string, and then skip down to 3. Now you're gonna dive bomb on the low E string and come up on the A string. Once it comes back in pitch, you can kind of pump it 3 or 4 times. Then you got a G chord, D chord, A chord. Sliding up with your 3rd finger to the 20th fret on the B string, and pump back and forth between the 20th fret on the B string and the 17th fret on the high E. Now 20 going up to 21, and then pulling off back to 20 to 17 on the high E. Down to 19 on the B string, pull off 20 on to 17 on the high E, and then 20 on the B. Now coming up, 20 to 17 on the high E, and then bend the 20th fret on the high E, and then bring it back down, pulling off to 17, and then you get 20 to 17 on the B, 17 on the G, or I'm sorry, 19 on the G, back to 17 on the B, and you get this motif where you're bending 20 and bringing it back down, and then to 17, and then down to 19 on the G. See that? Now you get a run here, 18 to 20 on the G string, and then 18, 20, 21 on the B, and then 17 to 20 on the high E. This part's definitely the trickiest. Now skip down to 17 on the G, then 17, 20 on the B, back to 17 on the G, and then 17, 20 on the high E. Now you'll do a hammer-on pull-off, 17 and 20, and then down 14 and 15, then 17 pulling 14 on the B string, and then you kind of go back and forth between the 17th fret on the G and the 14th fret on the B string, and give it a nice dive bomb. Before coming out, you're holding the 12th fret on the high E and bending the 15th fret on the B, and then start trem picking. You're gonna go 12, 16, 19, 17, 14, 17, 14, 16. Again. Now you'll kind of climb here, 12, 14, 10, 12, 9, 10, 7, 9, 5, 7, 3, 5, 1, 3, 1, and then do a 1, hammering 3, pulling off to 1, open. Same thing on the B. Bend 2 on the G. Bend it up, bring it down, open it. and then E, which is 2nd fret D string, dive bomb. Bring it back into pitch, pause for a second, think the song's over, not quite. 7th fret, slide into your, on the A string there, and then 5, hammering 7 and trem picking, and then 5 pulling open on the G, back to 7, and then I got 6 pulling 5 pulling open on the B, 7 pulling 5 pulling open on the G, 8 pulling 7 pulling open on the B, and then trilling on 9 and 11 on the G. Then you come down, sliding 3rd finger 7th fret low E string, and then 5 hammering 7 on the A string, 5 pulling open on the D, back to 7, and then you got 5 pulling 4 on the G, 7 pulling 6 on the D, and then slide up with your 1st finger to trilling 9 and 11 on the D. Then back to sliding 7th fret on the A, and then 5 hammering 7 on the D. Tremolo picking 5-0 and pulling off on the G string, back. Same fill here, 6 pulling 5 pulling open, then 7 pulling 5 pulling open on the G, 8 pulling 7 pulling open on the B, and now this time you're going to trill 9 and 11, and then you're going to go down to 7 and 9, 5 and 7, and 4 and 6. Alright, so I'll play that part slow through. Now we get to the tapping, all right? Put your 1st finger on the 2nd fret B string. This whole part actually takes place on just the B string. So 2, 5, and then you're gonna tap the 9th fret here. So it goes 9, 2, 5. That's your pattern. Now come up, 10th fret you're tapping, keep the left hand the same. Now you're gonna shift so your left hand comes up to 4 and 7, still tapping 10. All right, but that's only real quick, it's like 2 times. Now you shift up to 12 in your right hand. Shift up to 5 and 7, or 5 and 9 in your left hand. And then simultaneously, you're gonna go up to 13 in your right hand and drop down a fret in your left hand, so you're now 5, 8, and 13. Now come up, right hand is 15th fret, left hand stays the same. Move up now to 7 and 10 in the left hand. Now up to 17 in your right hand. Shift immediately then to 9 and 12 in your left hand. Now you got this kind of, this crazy going down, this pattern going down. All right, so then you shift up, so you're 12 and 15 in the left hand, tapping 17 in the right hand. And then move it down a half step, so now you're on 11 and 14. And then tap it again, 10 and 13. And he does that twice. You go down to 9 and 12. So your right hand's going 12, 15, 11, 14, 10, 13, 9 and 12. Do it again. All right. Then you come back up a half step, so you're 10 and 13 in your left hand, and you start tapping 15 in your right hand. All right, pattern goes down, 10 and 13, tapping here, then 9 and 12, 8 and 11, 7 and 10, and then you move it down again, shift up in your left hand. So now you're 8 and 11 in your left hand, and you're tapping 13 in your right hand. Move down, boom, then 7 and 10, 6 and 9, 5 and 7, and now here's your final one. You'll shift to where you're tapping the 12th fret, and you're moving back and forth in your left hand between 4 and 7 and 5 and 8. and then you can kind of like go back and forth quicker at the end. And then hit the low E, 2 harmonics on the 12th fret low E string. Maybe a little dive bomb down, bring it back up to pitch. You can hit your gain knob if you're playing with pedals and turn it up so you get a little more feedback towards the end. And shred it out, man. This is it. Let's roll it back one more time. See ya.